Hi, this is Kathy Utley from the Utley Post, and I am in my granny pajamas today. Just wanted to let you know, if you haven't already noticed. But I wanted to give a quick update. I haven't posted in a long time. I've been going through some stuff. We all do. I am grateful for my friends, family, church family. Nothing real serious, just some life changes, and stuff happens. One of the things I wanted to let everyone know is that I am now going to be trying, at least, and I've been doing a pretty good job of it, is every time I post, I try to copy and paste my post into AI to translate it into Spanish. I am not a Spanish speaker, so I am hoping it translates well. If anyone out there, and I get it, people are reading it, so I just decided after the whole hullabaloo, if you will, to use no more baloney, kind of a Biden era cursing. Um, I a Bad Bunny, and then just all the ice stuff. I just realized that just even speaking another language can be a revolutionary act, and I think the Spanish-speaking people of this world and this country. I mean, the meltdown over the fact that the entire halftime show was in Spanish. I don't know if anybody's ever gone to the opera or not. I did when I was a kid, and very rarely was it in English. And I didn't understand a word they said, so but it was beautiful. So there you go. I imagine, why can we do it in opera? And it can be in Spanish, it can be in French, it can be in Italian, or German, whatever. And it's so respectful, and it's just so sophisticated. But when it's rap at halftime, I mean, come on, man. I'm just so, and the MAGA meltdown over that. So, my revolutionary act is to try to translate all of my posts into a Spanish version, and I've created on the time on the little timeline thing, or the I save it under the Spanish version, so people can get a Spanish version of all of moving forward. I am going back into my archives, and when I do want to repost something, then I'll do that as well. And I'm hoping eventually I can get everything translated into Spanish. I've posted, though, almost 300 times, so that's a lot of translation. It's not the Epstein files, but for me, it's a lot. Um, so I wanted to update everyone. I haven't been posting lately. I have been extremely preoccupied with some personal issues, and nothing that I'd like to share because it's stupid stuff. It's just life itself in general. Actually, kind of relationship oriented, if you know what I mean. Um, and I will be temporarily. I'll be moving to Vermont. I'm in Colorado Springs right now, but only temporarily. I'm going to stay with my son and his partner Tim for over the summer, maybe into the fall, pretty, and then come back to Colorado Springs and find a relocate. I'm going to be living with, hopefully, with one of my daughters and my grandkids, and I come with like a small zoo. I'm an animal person, so I have two dogs and two rabbits. And then my daughters have cats. Not exactly a great combo, but um, I'm a critter person, so I love animals and I love my bunnies. So I just adopted two little boys from the Humane Society. They are a bonded pair. And they're so sweet, so cuddly. They are mini Rexes. I think one is a lion head mix because it's got the lion head color and the fuzziness, but not quite liony head. So I think it's probably a combo. Um, they were hand fed, and I mean, they're so precious. They're so tame. I just love them. So um, it's interesting how since I've gotten these rabbits, how I found out how many people don't like rabbits. How can you not like rabbits? They're so sweet. They're sweet pets. But Anyway, I'm into 5 minutes on this talking about my rabbits. The other thing I wanted to mention is I have a friend. His name is Brian Kennedy. Brian and I, sort of know we're acquaintances through the Democratic Party in Wisconsin, where I lived for 16 years before moving to Minneapolis, before moving to Colorado Springs, and now to Vermont and back to Colorado Springs. I'm a nomad. Um, but Brian is the mayor. He's been like a 4-term mayor for the city of Glendale, which is a suburb of Milwaukee. But he has written a book, and he has sent me he's forwarded me a copy, and I'm going to look through it and write something for him. Um, but the other thing I was going to say is that Brian and I are going to be collaborating on posts and also doing a live. He's very connected to the DNC and to Democratic politics, and um, I would say I used to be, but not as much. I am going to say this very proudly. I don't care what anyone thinks, but I love Hillary Clinton, and I did work on Hillary Clinton's campaign when she ran against. Hello, hello. Okay, when she ran against uh, Donald Trump. Shocking. Yeah, that was a crazy time in history, but I really do think that she lost in part because of all kinds of craziness, but also sexism. I mean, we don't like strong women. I mean, I do, but a lot of other people don't. A lot, women and men, by the way, which is really surprising. I loved watching. I sat yesterday and watched that deposition that she gave, and I'm like, girl, I am still with you. Oh my God, get that Lauren Boebert hell. I mean, the looks, she can't. What's interesting about her is that she doesn't care anymore. She can't hold it back. She's just like, "Ugh, whatever." I loved it. I just totally loved it. But I did get the opportunity to meet Hillary Clinton. And yes, just like everyone says, she is really sweet and very personable in person. And I like her a lot. I know people who are friends with her. I could be friends with her. Um, I look a lot like her mother, actually. Um, but she's awesome. And I did work on her campaign, and I did something really cool on her campaign. And I will never forget that experience in my entire life. I worked with her tech team, and um, I don't know if you guys know this, but Hillary Clinton had, if you remember back in 2016, she was endorsed by Wired magazine, and which I love that magazine, by the way. And I have a tech background, just to let you know. And so, I mean, I'm an oldie COBOL programmer. That's how far back I go, way back machine. Um, but anyway, she had a lot of tech people that were volunteering for her campaign, and it needed to be managed. So I had interviewed for a position. They had a type community manager, which is basically managing this online, group of folks. They ended up hiring a wonderful man by the name of Remy DeCosmaker. I'm not making that up. That is his real name. And he's from New York, the state of New York. Great guy. Love you, Remy. And but there was also another group of us who we said we still want to be in the game, and so I didn't get hired, but I did get a really primo like volunteer. I mean, we had so much fun. So woman by the name of Brady Chris, shout out to Brady, and myself and Remy, and just a whole group of unbelievable folks from the tech community. um, we put together an online community of, I think it ended up being like 800 or so. We scaled up so quickly. It was, and that's because of Brady, to be quite honest. Brady Chris, she just, man, she built this powerful infrastructure. My job was to help onboard, vet softly, do soft vetting, onboarding, um, and managing other people who were doing that. So I was kind of people ops, kind of HR, if you want to say, very lightly vetting people and interviewing people and making sure they weren't robots and bringing people on. Somebody was doing something at a much higher level, vetting folks, making sure that there weren't like weird infiltrator stuff. And those people just kind of fell off. And I don't know how they did. I don't care. But very few actually. But I got to meet people from the tech community, and I was just, to me, I was like, it was like being starstruck. So much so that Brady had to kind of pull me aside digitally and remotely and say, "Hey, you okay, man?" I was like, I had to really be like, okay, because I was just like meeting the coolest people. And for me, it was just a great experience. But anyway, we were able to kind of scale up fast because we had to. And then we had to figure out ways to engage folks and to make them feel like they were really contributing. Um, After the election, we were just devastated. I was devastated, some more than others. Took me like 2 weeks to get over it. I heard it took people months. So, but this particular group of tech digital activists decided we're going to stay together. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the ball rolling. And Brady Chris, to her credit, started something called Ragtag, which was a came from what was the big film? The musical Hamilton. They were all into that. I wasn't, but everybody was into that. And there was a line from Hamilton about how is it that a small ragtag group of people who haven't showered for weeks, overthrow a government. And so we called ourselves Ragtag because most of us hadn't showered for weeks, by the way. And it was a great run, and we did a lot of really cool stuff. And you can go to their website, www.ragtag.org, and look at all the projects that they worked on. But all of that being said, I was watching Hillary Clinton and just absolutely I'm like, you know what? I'm still with her. Can you imagine? I just can't get over. I will say that I tend to be a little bit of, I wouldn't call it fatalism, but I do believe that God works in mysterious ways. And oddly enough, we're learning a lot about who we are as a people, and good and bad, by the way, the good and the ugly, with Donald Trump. I mean, it's obvious that, he has just, all the scum kind of boils to the top here. Sorry, got a cold. Getting over. Actually, we all had COVID here, by the way. But, you know, so one of the ideas that Brian Kennedy, back to that, my friend Brian and I are going to have a live discussion on, and I hope people do attend, although they are recorded. People can watch them later. But where do we go from here? Because we can't go back to, with the Democratic Party, we cannot go back. And by the way, I'm not a member of the party anymore. I'm an independent. He's a Dem still. 99.9%, I'm going to vote for a Democrat. I have voted third party before. We all have. Mine was Ralph Nader, um, for the Green Party. But uh, Brian and I are going to be talking about where do we go from here? Because we can't go back to business as usual for the Democrats. We just can't. Life isn't the same. And we can't afford to go through what we've been through. And so, we have to reimagine ourselves, and we have to read the room, and we have to be open to new ideas and to listen to the younger people and the younger voters, and to get back to, I've been very critical of my own party. And so, um, and I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. So there were a lot of mistakes that we were making that I saw, and talked openly about, and people were not ready to hear it, because that's often the case when it comes to we need to change ourselves, and that there was, it hurt us. And I'm not always right, by the way. As a matter of fact, I'm probably more wrong than right. And I don't have to be right. That's another thing too. I could be wrong. I'm okay with that. But but in several cases, I was right. Um, so anyway, I'm going to be. So that's the updates. I haven't posted in a long time. I've been going through some personal stuff. I'm going to be, just to summarize, I'm going to be trying to post in English and have a Spanish version of all of my posts. Um, Brian Kennedy and I are going to be partnering. By the way, go check out his Substack, which is Conversations with a Mayor. And Brian has, I mean, he's much more educated than I am. He's got his PhD. He's a great guy, by the way. He and his wife do wonderful work in the community, and they're just wonderful people. He's a great guy. And we're going to be talking not only about his book that's coming out, but also talking about where do we go from here as a party? Where do we go from here as a people? Where do we go from here to in our republic to get back to what our to a purer democracy? How do we um, incorporate some of the Clean New Deal? We'll talk about that. I'll let my friends, Roseanne, Melia, yeah, and um, Patrick Lovell, and his folks, to because he's uh, the author of the Clean New Deal. Um, and we're going to talk about other things moving forward, like how do we get out of this mess? How do we transcend it? How do we become bigger than all of this? So stay tuned for that. Trust me. And in a month or so, I'll be in Vermont, but my son and I will be posting and recording and doing podcasts on all kinds of cool stuff. I'm going to be staying with him and his partner, Tim. They have a beautiful place in Vermont, not too far from Montreal in Canada. And I'm going to stay there through the summer and fall and come back here to this beautiful Colorado Springs. So um, before it gets crazy. So, but anyway, I think that's pretty much all I have. But like I said, subscribe to my post. I very rarely paywall anything, primarily because I just feel, because I talk a lot about spiritual and religious things, particularly from what's really I have to tell you, my son calls me a James Tallarico Presbyterian. I love that. Uh, and I am a James Tallarico Presbyterian. Um, but the good news is free, so I don't want to like charge people for that. So I do need support though. So if you can, that'd be great. Become a paid supporter of the Utley Post. I do have mostly, you know, uh, kind of news stories and current events and stuff like that. I try to write most of the time from how do we view this from a Christian perspective, from a progressive Christian perspective, um, but not always. Sometimes I don't. And then the other thing is, I do have a fictional uh, part called, I do a science fiction, and I actually only, I think, have posted like 3 chapters or episodes of The Red Horizon, which is a, a journey, a hero's journey of a little boy who's and his father, who takes place on Mars after it's been partially terraformed about 100 or so years from now, and their personal journey through this experience, and this little boy um, finding his way spiritually and emotionally. He lost his mother, and then they're just kind of trying to get through life, and the dad's pretty much in the grief process and angry. angry at God, you know. But it's fun for me because I get to write about it's a inspired C.S. Lewis type inspired story. I'm a little bit more direct with the Christian message, though. So if that's your thing, it's a new genre, it's a niche genre, Christian science fiction. Check it out. I'm going to get back to doing that too. It's just a little bit more work because it's all creative and imaginary, and it excites me, and it's fun because I get to learn about I really get into researching all the scientific parts of it, which I'm a geeky person, so for me that's fun. And then also writing this beautiful story about this boy's journey. So check that one out too. It's called the Red Horizon. So with that, it's a beautiful day here in the neighborhood. So I am going to let you guys go. I love you all. Thank you for being there for me. I appreciate everything all of you have done. And see you on the flip side.